The only thing that keeps us alive is the meaning, the narratives that unite us. We need emotion and cognition, and we need these emotional and cognitive orientations to motivate our actions, because we need a story to glue us together. If we lose this glue, as we are doing acceleratingly fast, the moment we lose this glue, finally, irrevocably, irretrievably, we are doomed as a species. Because we are not as fast as the cheetah. We don't have as much fur as the buffalo. We don't have strength. We are very, very weak animals. And so our action should be predicated on emotion and cognition, our two prefrontal cortex advantages. Cognition inspired emotion and cognition. Don't follow algorithms. Don't automate. Don't obey commands. Don't adhere to recipes or self-help books. Human beings are not dishes. You can't cook them the same way each and every time. And as long as you don't change your motivation, your emotional landscape, your background, no action will get you anywhere. Young people put the cart before the horse. Emotions come first. Actions follow. Actions don't create reliable long-term emotions, which create reliable long-term actions. Actions don't lead to the kind of emotions that perpetuate action. That's why most of the young today stop midway. They don't finish their studies. They don't consummate their relationships. They don't create families. They don't create, period, not only families. Because they can't get to the finish line. Their actions are wrongly motivated, so they don't lead to additional actions. But emotions lead to reliable long-term actions. And these actions enhance the emotions, which lead to more actions. And this is a virtuous cycle. Ask not what you need, but what you need to feel. Ask not what to do. Ask why to do. Feel anything positive. Love if you can, if you are lucky enough. Feel love. Reach out. Reach out to intimate partners, to friends and family. These are the defaults. Reach out to life. Reach out to reality. Yes, with the pain, with the hurt, with the blood, with the body parts. Reach out. Touch. Let it touch you. Negativity can take you a long way. Don't misunderstand me. Look at Adolf Hitler. He became the king of the world. Negativity took him there. But then, how did he end? How did Germany end? How did Europe end? And how did Japan, for example? Negativity takes you only so far, up to a point, and then it ends badly. Then you implode. Then you disintegrate. Then you fall apart. Then there's nothing left of you, not even your self-respect and dignity. Then you give your body away. You give your mind away. You give your body away to strangers. You give your mind away to drugs and alcohol. You forget to exist. You go through a process of unbeing rather than a process of becoming. Negative emotions are not glue. They're explosives. Positive emotions are glue. Negative emotions are explosives that tear things apart. Actions dictated by negative emotions are destructive actions, even if they seem to be the absolutely right and healthy actions. Do not fear hell, but love God if you are religious. Negativity and constriction, limitation of life, narrowing life, these are choices, not circumstances. Everything we do in life is a choice, mate selection, to have or to not have children, to write a book or not, to sleep or to watch a movie. Can you conceive of anything that is not a choice? I cannot, with the exception perhaps of abused children, up to a certain age. So negativity and constriction in adults, they're choices. And they are, again, if you're religiously inclined, blasphemous choices. Because it's a rejection of a gift. Each and every one of us was given gifts. Not the same gifts, but we were all given gifts. And these gifts were given to us to be used. The aim was to use them for the betterment of ourselves and others. Some people use the word God, God's gift. You know what? If it's God's gift, then to be negative, to narrow your life, to limit your choices, to throw emotions out the window when you're having sex, that is to spit in God's face, to reject God himself, if you are religious, which I'm not. But if this is your favorite metaphor, that's what you're doing. You're spitting in life's face. It's sacrilegious or inefficacious, depending if you're religious or not. It's not efficient. If you're a tough bottom line kind of person, concerned with numbers and profits, you don't like the mushy-cushy text right now because it's too sanctimonious and too self-righteous, okay, let's talk business. Negativity sucks. It's inefficient. It gets you bad outcomes. It impacts the bottom line. It drives you to the red from the black. Do something. Total rejection of life is suicide. Suicide is this, isn't it? And in every conceivable philosophical and religious system, suicide is a sin. But here are whole generations committing mental suicide. And they convince themselves that mental suicide is not as bad as physical suicide. I beg to differ. Mental suicide is much worse than physical suicide. In physical suicide, you die once. In mental suicide, you die every second, of every minute, of every hour, of every day, for the rest of your life. You die by a million cuts. You commit suicide a million times when you commit mental suicide. Every time you suspend yourself, your being, your judgment, your cognition, your emotions, your self-respect, and then you just throw yourself as so much trash into something. Casual sex, reckless behaviors, counterproductive or self-defeating choices. Every time you do this, you're committing yet another suicide. There have never been generations more sinful than today's generations. Why? Because they're all dead, and they are dead by their own hands. I am not a religious person. I don't know how many times I will say this. And no, I'm not going through a spiritual epiphany or theophany. But in religion, God embraces life, truth, positivity, and love. There is not a single God in the big religions which embraces death and isolation and unbeing and suspension of emotions and the devil may care and throwing your life away and waste and irrationality. There's no such God. Even monks embrace life. They reject external commitments because they need their undivided commitment, attention, resources, and energy for God. But they don't reject life. Even the most backward, reactionary institutions embrace marriage and family and love and relationships, even under communism. I don't recall any ideology which had rejected life, not even Nazism. And yet, here we are. The ideology of unbeing, the ideology of emptiness is upon us, the ideology of the spectacle, the ideology of make-believe and imitation and simulacrum and simulation. The ideology of why do I need to be if instead I can act? It's not going to end well, and we are already halfway there. Armageddon is not a battle, it is silence when we are all gone.